This is you. You've just spent the last couple of hours chatting to your mates and celebrating your best friend's 21st birthday party. It's a rare occasion, and you and your friends typically don't really get photos taken of each other. And one of your friends says, hold on a second, when was the last time we got a group photo together? So you all line up together, get your group photo taken, and oh my goodness, oh my damn, what is this deformed abomination I've just bestowed my eyes upon? Behold, it is you on the dreaded, fateful iPhone back camera. You think to yourself, have I been going my entire life looking this fucking ugly? And as your ego disintegrates and your confidence slowly dwindles into subhuman territory, you think to yourself, how can I fix my asymmetrical face? So ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be solving this universal experience today, so that the next time you get your photo taken on the dreaded iPhone back camera, you won't start making a stupid face to avoid looking at how ugly you are, because you'll be too busy tensing your masseters and squinting as hard as you can. But seriously, the first thing I did to increase my symmetry was actually chewing on the left side of my face. Chances are, if you breathe oxygen and you're born as a Homo sapien, you're going to have a degree of asymmetry on your face. And once you analyze this, you can simply get to work. For the most part, the most amount of asymmetry I had on my face was around my jaw region. And simply this was because I chewed too much on my right side during puberty, when my bone structure was growing, unfortunately. Trust me, if I could go back in time and tell myself to start chewing on the left side of my mouth, first of all, I'd think,
fuck, how did I get so autistic?
And secondly,
holy shit, how did I get so handsome?
So then the halo effect would kick in and younger me would listen. Assessing which side of your jaw is more developed is crucial in order to aligning your jaw symmetry. For example, the right side of my jaw is obviously a lot more developed, if you can see right here, taking a lot more sharp and square appearance, whereas the left side of my jaw is actually taking on a more round and less sharp appearance, even after chewing. And this is simply just because my bone structure grew too much during puberty. But luckily, my masseter muscles grew after chewing with my left side, and then it made my left side stronger. And I went from people actually noticing my asymmetry to not even noticing it at all, and asking how to fix it in the first place. The second thing you should be doing in order to increase your symmetry within your face is obviously mewing and breathing through your nose. Now, before you click off, this isn't taking down the classic Brett Maverick road of telling you to mew, plugging my sponsored chewing gum, and then getting you to fuck off. I just thought I had to mention mewing because it is something you should be doing. Thirdly, a lot of the symmetry that is built up in your face is actually due to your face muscles, which you could be using in a very particular way if you haven't realized yet. For example, I used to be able to put my left eyebrow up like this, but I couldn't with my right one. But after a while of practicing it, I'm now able to do it. That is if I focus hard enough. Obviously not as good as my left side, but it's still something considering I couldn't do it at all. And because of this lack of muscle control, my right eye on some occasions actually appeared more negatively hooded compared to my left side that actually appeared more positively hooded. And this isn't actually the eye itself that's more hooded, it's just simply because I'm used to having my right eye down lower. And you'd be surprised if you train certain muscles how much this can actually boost your overall facial symmetry. Go ahead and take a photo of yourself and give it a try. You can do multiple muscle exercises considering there are so many muscles on your face, and it's not just a masseter muscle that can increase your facial attractiveness, it is a lot more. On the topic of masseter muscles, not to mention, the entire side of my left jaw has benefited from chewing. For example, my ramus now appears longer, my gonial angle is actually more on the masculine side of things, but unfortunately, since my right side was way more developed, it's always going to be a lot more developed on my right side. But one piece of lookmaxxing advice is to not obsess too much on things that really do not matter. I don't think anyone in real life has noticed or even cared enough to pick up on the slight asymmetry that I have in my jaw region. In fact, they haven't even noticed. So unless it's like mine where I had pretty moderate asymmetry within my face, I wouldn't obsess over it too much. But it is okay to try and max out your looks. Improving is just a simple way of life, and that's why you're here on this video in the first place. And also on that topic, I've actually opened up my own coaching service that if you would like to learn how to boost your facial symmetry, get yourself a better physique, and simply look better overall, creating a night and day level of attractiveness for yourself, I urge you to look down in the description below and book a call with me right now. If not, it's okay, just continue watching the video. Now, sometimes symmetry can actually be affected in the nose region, and if that is the case, unfortunately you will have to delve into more surgical options. Robert Pattinson is a good example of an asymmetrical nose. Chances are you probably wouldn't even notice that, but like I said before, if it's a very slight amount of asymmetry, it really does not take away from your overall attractiveness. Same goes for Sean O'Pryor with his slight nose asymmetry, but once again, you probably would have never realized that. But I suppose once you reach that PSL God range, having a little bit of asymmetry probably isn't going to be too detrimental to your looks, let's be real. Now, another question that a lot of people ask me as well is what side of my bed do I sleep on? And the answer for that is usually on the right side of my face, which is the more developed side. Because if you notice when you start sleeping on your pillow, your jaw tends to get more pushed to the side as so. In turn, over time, most likely contributing to microfractures of the jawbone or the musculature of your jaw region, and then pushing it to the opposite side. So if one side is more developed than the other, I urge you to sleep on the other side, or more optimally, just sitting, lying on your back, so that either side isn't affected. And God forbid, do not be sleeping on your front.
What the Sigma?
To be honest, I don't even know how you would fall asleep on your face anyways. And mentioning Robert Pattinson, you'd probably end up getting a maxilla similar to his if you sleep directly on your nose. But once again, I have to mention, if you do have a small degree of facial symmetry, it really isn't something worth autistically analyzing on a daily basis. Hell, even look at Bradley Cooper. He probably has the most amount of facial asymmetry I've seen on pretty much anyone, but this is a very good looking guy, and he has a lot of facial asymmetry. So while yes, in photos, asymmetry can matter to some degree, but you gotta remember, of course, people are looking at your asymmetrical side, meaning your flip side, pretty much every single time. So it's a little hard to judge how attractive you really are in photos, unless you flip it to your mirrored version. And I noticed a lot of questions online asking, what side do people view you as? Your mirrored version, meaning the version that you look in the mirror every single day, or your flipped version? And my answer to that question is somewhere in between your mirrored version and a mix of the two. Simply put, whether it's flipped or mirrored, it really isn't going to impact your facial attractiveness to an outside perspective, considering people cannot notice the difference. This is also similar when it comes to the side profile. For example, I always thought I had a terrible side profile because simply I wasn't used to seeing my side profile. But then I realized it was actually a lot better than I thought it was after doing a lot of autistic analyzation. So to summarize, having a small amount of asymmetry will not banish you from Lord Gandy's heaven, but it might deduct you 2 points of attractiveness on lookmaxxing.org. Also, I forgot to mention eye asymmetry. If you do have eye asymmetry, it's fucking over for you, and I urge you to seek rope immediately. That being a skipping rope, because you're giving me too many excuses and I need to see you get in the gym immediately. Always remember, mock your past self. Don't let a little bit of asymmetry tear you down. People aren't analyzing your face in 4K, and if they are, they've definitely been diagnosed with Asperger's.